Suzanne and the plant today. I'm going to talk a little bit about, where's this thing? Sorry, I was organized. Here, the Octave Resonance Healing Approach. So we've got the octave of higher awareness or spiritual, the octave of emotions and images or astral, the octave of life force or etheric, and the octave of the physical. So the octave of the physical we share with inanimate objects, so like this. The octave of life force we share with plants. We're going to talk about that in a minute. The octave of emotions and images we share with animals. And the octave of self-reflective awareness, it's sort of our human thing, which doesn't mean that rocks don't have consciousness. Everything has consciousness, right? But there's this self-reflecting thing that goes on with people that's a little different in animals. They have it in an unincarnated way. Okay, so so why is this helpful for healing and what we're doing here? Is that a lot of distance healing, we think we need to get this right, this spiritual part right, sorry, the light is kind of glaring, the thinking part right. Actually, like the disease of cancer is actually a disease of life force. This is the part of our body, our etheric body, that molds and builds, and cancer is a problem here because our etheric forces, our life forces, are what build and mold and shape us. It's what makes plants be plants. Ouch. Do their thing of growing and living. So like if I have this plant here, this has different names depending on who you talk to. I call it a philodendron. And what you notice is that these philodendron leaves don't look like fern leaves. They don't look like spinach leaves. They look like this plant's leaves. So the life force in this particular plant creates this shape, okay? And you would say that this is the DNA and all that is like the physical part, but the life force, maybe the epigenetic thing is an analogy, is that makes this this plant be what it is. So when we have bone cells that are in our liver or breath cells that are in our bones, there's something wrong with these formative life forces in our body. And when we heal, like with distance healing, I'd like you to tune in to the plant-like part of you, because we have plant-like parts of ourselves. And the inner gesture, you think of, like I just grabbed the house plant, right? A better analogy would be almost like a blade of grass. A blade of grass just grows upright because it doesn't really have the freedom to not be a blade of grass. If it has some water and some soil and some sunlight, it just gently reaches towards the sun and does its whole blade of grass thing. That's actually the inner gesture that we want with healing. It's like a simple, just being ourselves. Kind of like how like this plant can't be anything but itself. It can't suddenly decide to be a fern. It can't suddenly decide to, be an octopus or a dog. It's just, it's a philodendron, or they call it, I saw it on sale in a store and they didn't call it that, but that's what I call it. And, okay, so then this inner gesture of just gently being yourself feels sort of matter of fact. There's not a lot of bells and whistles to being yourself. You don't get a lot of pizzazz. Sometimes there's a little release and a relaxation as you become more yourself. But there's usually not a big aha thing as you become yourself. Usually it's more of a settling and a okay, it's actually kind of grounding and settling to be yourself. And I say this because sometimes we're looking for the bells and whistles of healing with these group distance healings, and we want to feel tingles running up and down, or so we want to have a lot of chi going on, and it's shifting and changing and doing things, and there's nothing wrong with any of that happening, but you would, as much as I say I'm not attached to what happens, I'm particularly pleased, which tells me I am attached, when people just say, oh, it just felt nice, it felt good, it felt right. And it you know, oh yeah, the pain went away a little bit or a lot. Or if you were doing it with your dog, like, oh, they were able to relax and sleep. So there's this like lack of drama in a good distance healing is what I'm trying to say. All right. And then while we're talking about the layers, one aspect of having the animals with us, if you notice, I say, if you're here for more than 1 week, you'll notice that a lot of the names on the list are animals who need healing. And the animals so plants respond to emotions, and I guess that you might say they have them, but they're not in their bodies the same way they're in an animal's or in a human's. Okay, certainly if I yell at this plant, it's not going to grow as well as if I'm nice to it. I must be very nice to it. It's so happy. Anyway, so animals, they live in this astral world of emotions and images, and they have their plant-like forces, and they have their physical bodies, and there's an innocence to them where they're not trying to manage any of it. They're just allowing it. In some ways, they're not set up to manage their healing processes. They just let it happen. If they want it, they let it happen. And it's not a cognitive wanting, it's just a need, of the organism to live. And they keep it rather simple. So, do they feel pain? Absolutely. Do they feel love? They feel all the emotions. Animals are so emotional, but they're not trying to manage them. They're just really honest. Animals are really honest. So today I want you to aspire to be like a dog or a cat, and like a plant as we go through this healing process. It's just a settling into who you really are. So now we can't really be human without acknowledging that we do have this witnessy part of ourselves. So what do you do with that part? If it's prone to muddying the waters, it's prone to over-controlling and trying to like beam light and love into it and make it happen, make it heal. I would say use your wonderful human cognitive capacities to follow the guided visualization that I'm going to give you, and use your wonderful cognitive abilities to notice your plant-like forces. Just like, do you feel rooted and grounded? Do you feel alive? When you die, the life force withdraws from you, and it's very different than when you sleep. Okay, so you can kind of, like a sleeping body is not a dead body, and that's the difference is that the sleeping body has life force. So just notice your life force, your chi, your energy, and then sorry, I'm being distracted by the upstairs. And let's see. Oh, okay. So what you do with your God-given thing is the witnessing. You try to just follow along and notice what's downstream. You notice your images that you have in your mind. You notice your feelings that are coming up. You notice your chi in your body. You notice your physical environment, or your body. Okay. So hopefully that helps. Okay, so what's the take home of that? It's sort of, I want you to come to this distance healing authentically in the here and now. And that's like, how do you do that? How do you be in the here and now? That seems like, okay, you know, a lot of people go into their thinking, okay, I'm here now, like I'm paying attention. What am I paying attention to? Paying attention to this. Like, I'm encouraging you to let the here and now include your emotions, your imagination, your plant-like forces, and your physical environment, and your body and all that. So when I say be here now, you kind of like let the whole thing be here now. And especially with healing, you want your plant forces to, you want to witness, whatever you witness grows, right? So you want to witness this calm, innocent part of you that just receives the healing as automatically as a plant would reach towards the sun.